now we're at the Orlando International Airport. Orlando is a very simple airport. This is a scenario base in which the inbound to Orlando is via the south. If when landing to the south, we come in from the south, we fly parallel to the airport, and then we are vectored around for an arrival. Orlando, there is not much complications. As a matter of fact, on the initial call with Miami Center, when they're handing us off, the handoff is quite simple. They're handing you to simple.
Columbia 468 Miami Center, descend via the Rides 1 arrival, Orlando altimeter 3021.
So again, we're following the Rides 1 arrival. That hasn't changed much. Normally we cross the Rides intersection at 11 at 11,000, and there isn't a whole lot of communications involved.
And the Columbia 468 Miami Center, descend via the Rides 1 arrival, Orlando altimeter 3021.
3021, and that's how I respond.
And descending via the Rides 1 arrival, Columbia 468.
Okay, and that's pretty much all you're really going to talk with the approach control or the arrival controller about. And you continue via the Rides 1 arrival. As we get closer to the airport TMA, again, we're kept at a high altitude. Why? Around the Orlando International Airport, there are 5 airports. So normally you're kept at 11,000 feet or a minimum of 11,000 feet, as far down as 9. But until you're parallel to the airport, they're not going to descend you down to 5. And that's only for transitioning aircrafts that are coming in from the east, the west, the north, and the south into outlying airports in and around the Orlando area. So it's very, very crucial. Again, we have an ATIS that we need to listen to on the arrival, which we'll play now.
Orlando International Airport ATIS arrival information mic. Time 1053 Zulu. Wind 080 at 3 knots, visibility 10 statute miles, few clouds at 3000, scattered clouds 5000, temperature 21, dew point 19er, altimeter 3010, AO2 sea level pressure 19er1. Simultaneous approaches are being conducted, ILS runway 17 right, visual approach runway 18 left, ARNA visual approach available on request. NOTAMs. 5G NOTAMs in effect for Orlando International, runway 17 left, 35 right, 18 right, closed until further notice. Taxiway Foxtrot closed between November and runway 35 left, Echo closed between Echo 6 and runway 35 left, Juliet closed between November and Lima. All aircraft contact ground control on 121.8. Hazardous in-flight weather advisory service alert. Bird activity in the vicinity of the airport. Advise on initial contact, you have information mic.
So once we advise on the arrival that we have information mic, we can continue our arrival to Orlando, and it's simply put.
And Orlando approach, good day. Columbia 468 with you 16,000, descending via the Rides 1 arrival with ATIS information mic.
Isn't that pretty much very straightforward? And your reply or read back would be?
And the Columbia 468 Orlando approach, expect vectors to the visual approach runway 17 left.
Now, what's going to be your response to that? Let me hear the read back.
Unable to visual approach, requesting the ILS runway 17 left, Columbia 468.
Very good. So you picked up on that, and that's very good. It means that you're a sharp group. Unable to visual, even though they're trying to give it to you, will not accept it. Remember those 3 golden rules. We cannot accept the visual approach. So now as we come up toward theme, that's when we're going to be given descend further.
468 Orlando approach, roger. Continue to expect vectors for the ILS runway 17 left. Roger, continue expecting vectors for the ILS runway 17 left, Viva Columbia 468.
So the fact that we've told the approach controller we're unable to visual, so we can expect now the visual or the vectors for the ILS runway 17 left. And that's all we want. All we want is guidance to intercept the localizer, and we can take it from there. but it is vitally important that we advise the controller that we cannot do the visual approach.
The Columbia 468 Orlando approach, descend and maintain 5,000. Columbia 468 at Pittman, turn left heading 270. Columbia 468, you're 4 miles from Cedo, turn left heading 210, maintain 2,500 till established on the localizer, clear the ILS runway 17 left.
Do you remember what that's called? What is this called? Position, turn, altitude, clearance for the approach. What is your position? You're 4 miles from Cedo. What's the turn? Turn left heading 210. What's the altitude? Maintain 2,500 until what? Established on the localizer and that you're cleared for the ILS approach. Perfect understanding of the PTAC. Your response is going to be TAC. Turn, altitude, clearance for the approach.
Turning left heading 210, maintaining 2,500 until established on the localizer, cleared the ILS runway 17 left, Columbia 468.
That's your response, and that is how you respond to that clearance. There's no complicated, you don't have to say where you are 4 miles from Cedo. You don't have to say that. Turning left heading 210, maintaining 2,500 until established on the localizer, cleared for the ILS runway 17 left, Columbia 468. Always remember that, and you'll have no worries.
Columbia 468, Orlando approach, maintain 170 knots to Cocos. Contact Orlando Tower on frequency 118.45. Maintaining 170 knots to Cocos. Contacting Orlando Tower on frequency 118.45. Columbia 468.
Are you starting to get the rhythm of how the communication dance goes? Because it isn't very complicated.
Orlando Tower, good evening. Columbia 468 established on the ILS. Columbia 468 Orlando Tower, good evening. Wind 170 at 10 knots. Runway 17 left, clear to land. Clear to land, runway 17 left. Columbia 468.
So now we've been handed over to the tower.
Columbia 468, vacate runway 17 left next right. Taxi via Foxtrot, hold short runway 17 right at Foxtrot. Vacating runway 17 left at Foxtrot, holding short runway 17 right on Foxtrot. Columbia 468.
Now, if you remember, was there anything in the ATIS that would say we wouldn't be landing on this runway? Not really. Are there any runway closures at Orlando in this moment? Yes, there are. But for training purposes, we act accordingly, just so we get the feel of how the arrivals are. Other than that, this runway would normally be closed, or runway 17 right would be closed, 3635 left, also 18 left, 36 right would also be an airport or runway that's closed. But for the training purposes, we keep them open in order to get fluidity and get fluency in the training.